Hey guys, it's Lefforge, and I am coming to you today literally from inside my closet, and it is Run Day Monday! Yay! Cheering crowds, woohoo! Please make sure you're subscribed. That always means the world to me, that you like, comment, and hit that little bell notification so that you don't miss any of my updates. Today, we're gonna talk specifically about what you're gonna need to take with you race morning. Some comfort items you might want, what you're gonna put in your drop bag, and what you're really gonna need. So let's first of all talk about the logistics of race morning, right? So you're gonna get up at 2:30. I need to enter that sound effect. You know, like what is that? Like a record scratch. So that's the first thing that's gonna happen. It's early. It's really early. It's dark. It's cold. Deal. You're gonna need to be on a bus. I'm usually on a bus by 3:30. You're gonna have to be on a bus, and this is true for, I'm not sure about the 5K, but I know for sure for the 10K, half marathon, and full marathon, you're gonna need to be on a bus no later than 4 a.m. I like to get up 2:30, have some time to have some breakfast, let my body wake up, and then I'm gonna be really focused on the weather. Now, many of you have asked me, what is the weather like marathon weekend? What a fascinating question. I have been there marathon weekend when it has been sunny and in the 70s. I have been there marathon weekend when it has been windy. Last marathon weekend was miserable and in the 30s. People I know have run it in ice and snow flurries. So the reality is anything can happen marathon weekend. I'm not even gonna try to predict. I'll start looking seriously at the weather maybe about 10 days out. We just wanna be prepared for everything. So I literally have costumes in mind, and next week I'll be talking costumes and what I'm actually wearing for the races, but I'm planning my costumes based on layers and being able to dress literally for weather in the 30s all the way through weather in the 70s. So that's a big spread, but it's Florida, y'all. This is what Florida does. You're getting up at 2:30, you're on a bus at 3:30. If you're running the 10K, and I need to go back and look, but let's say the 10K starts at 6, and it's gonna take you an hour and a half to finish. One of the things you need to really realize is the logistics of getting back to your hotel after the race. So realistically, you're probably not back at your hotel till 9:30. So that means you've been out of your hotel room, out in public from 3:30 in the morning till 9:30 in the morning. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6 hours, okay? It's a long time. Disney's going to give you something called a drop bag. Your drop bag is what you'll put all of your personal items into. Do not put anything of value in there, because although I've never had any problem with anything being stolen, you know, don't put your Rolex in there. I don't have a Rolex. If you have a Rolex, don't put it in your drop bag. This is the bag that you're going to drop off before the race starts at the staging area. And when you're done running, you're gonna go and pick it up. Disney's gonna give this to you when they give you your bib and everything else at the expo. In that bag, you're gonna wanna put anything that you may want for after the race. So I have several different things that I like to bring with me, and I wanna talk about that. And I also wanna talk about this fascinating thing called throwaway clothes. So let's talk about the drop bag first, and then we're gonna talk about throwaway clothes, what they are, why you need them, and what should you buy for that. What's in my drop bag? The first thing that I'm actually going to put inside my drop bag is another bag. And here's why. If you've ever been to a Run Disney race, you know this. The drop bags are not comfortable. They are weird. They're like supposed to go across your body, but I don't know if I'm too short or what, but they don't go across my body and they're really not comfortable. I will be putting in this lovely little, I think I picked this up for $18 at the parks. You know, you get them for free at different things. Just a little sling like this, right? Just a little backpack that is comfortable to put on my back, that will hold the things that I'm going to want for after the race. Yes, for the 10K, for sure for the half marathon, I'm gonna want some comfort items when I'm done, and not knowing what the weather's gonna look like or how I'm gonna feel. These are the essentials that I'm gonna have in my drop bag. So the first is a secondary bag that's easy to carry around. Again, keeping in mind, you're done with the race, you still have a lot. You've got to walk all the way through the chute, get your drop bag. Then you're probably going to want to maybe meet with some friends or enjoy the post-race entertainment. You've got to get on a bus. It takes an hour to an hour and a half, if not longer, to get from this, the time you're crossing the finish line to being back at your hotel. So you're gonna want some things that are gonna make you comfortable. This tip is from my husband, and he always wants me to make sure I tell you guys that this tip is from him. He always packs recovery flip-flops in his drop bag, even if it's 30 degrees out. Your feet are going to be so ready to get out of your running shoes. So if you don't pack these, I think a change of shoes, your feet will be so grateful if you can take off those running shoes and switch into something else. These are from UFOs. They are my absolute favorite. I will put an Amazon affiliate link below. You guys know how that works. I get a little bit of a kickback. It's not much, but if you're gonna get them anyway, if you get them through the link, that really helps me out. But these will feel fantastic on your feet. So the first thing that I'm gonna put in there are my flip-flops. I'm not just gonna pack one. I'm actually gonna pack both of them. The second thing that I'm gonna put in there is a blanket that is, these they usually give to you at the end of the race, but it's not always a guarantee. This one I think is from last marathon weekend. If it's cold, this is a great thing to have to wrap around yourself. It's also great to sit on the ground. A lot of times after the race, I have other friends that are finishing that I'm meeting up with, so we'll sit on the ground and wait. You'll see all the other runners doing that. It's a big deal if you can have something to sit on, especially if it's been raining or if the floor is wet. I don't want to sit on a wet ground. And it's also good if it's a little chilly. Speaking of it being a little chilly, if it's going to be very cold, I am going to bring my packable down jacket. Now this might seem silly to you guys, but last year after the half marathon, now if you've watched my vlogs, you know I had the flu. We found that out later, but I was freezing. If I had had this jacket, I would have been so much happier. It doesn't have to be something, as complicated as this. It could just be a hoodie, but a dry jacket to put on after the race. I just tend to get chills after I've run a race anyway, and I think a lot of people are like that. So a dry jacket to put on, you will be very grateful to have had that in your drop bag. Another item I'm going to have in my drop bag is wet ones. Now, a couple of these I'm going to tuck into the pockets of the outfit that I'm wearing, and a couple of them will be in there. These are great just to wash your face off. They're great for the porta potties. They're great for lots of different things after the race. So I'm always gonna have some wet ones. And then in my front pocket, hold please, I'm gonna have my magic band. It's amazing how many runners forget. Now the good thing is most of the vendors now, like that are selling coffee and water before the race, you can use your magic band. So you can, most of us wear it when we're running, but make sure you have it with you, because guess what, if you don't, how are you going to get back into your hotel room if you're staying on Disney property? So if you're staying on Disney property, make sure you bring your magic band. I'm gonna have tissues. How do I say this delicately? A lot of times the porta potties, especially after the race, are out of toilet paper. So I will have a little package of these tucked into my running skirt, and I will have another package of these tucked into my drop bag, because it never hurts, and if you don't need it, then maybe you can loan it to a friend in need. So definitely tissues. I'm gonna bring my sunglasses. Now I have these in here just so I remember, but obviously I will take these on the race course with me. It's always dark when you start a Florida race, but keep in mind when that sun comes up, it's going to be bright. I was just watching Heather Jergensen's run from Wine and Dine, and she forgot her sunglasses, and boy, when that sun came out, you could just see you're already hurting. You don't need a glare from the Florida sun. So make sure you have your sunglasses with you on the race course. I also usually tuck a little bit of cash in this bag, not a lot, $20. Sometimes they have massage therapists available. You want to be able to pay them so that they get a little bit of a tip. And this one is so important. This one is so important. Either your external battery or your fuel rod ready to go, along with your charging cord for your phone. You don't realize, but if you're like me and you use Runkeeper or you're listening to your music on your phone, that sucker is using up a lot of juice. So if you really are gonna use a lot of juice, like if you're a person who takes a lot of pictures on the course, you may wanna tuck either this or a small, lipstick size charger into your skirt so that you have it to charge. You definitely, at the very least, wanna have it in your drop bag, because there is nothing worse, and I know this from firsthand experience, than getting done with a race and realizing that your phone is dead and you don't have any way to charge it, and there's not outlets at the end of the race, right? What if you're trying to meet up with family or whatever the case may be? Make sure you have an external battery. Another note on meeting up with family, be specific. Do not say, meet me at the finish. You have to understand there are thousands of runners. So if you're gonna meet up with somebody, say a very specific place you're gonna meet, like at the entrance to the race retreat, because there is a chance, and this has happened multiple times, even if your phone is charged, it won't work. And I think it's just because of the quantity of runners that are all social media. I mean, we're all telling the world we finished our race at the same time. Cell phone service can be CRAP at the end of a Run Disney event. So have an alternative plan in case your cell phone does not work. What else is in here? Headphones. I always bring my headphones. I don't always use them. I like the Trex titanium headphones. I showed you guys these before. They're the kind that rest right here. The other reason I like them when I'm doing Run Disney is if I'm not wearing them, they can just rest around my neck. So as I go through like an area where there's a lot of other music, I can just pop them off and it's very comfortable and there's no cords to get in my way. So these will obviously go with me as well, but those will be with me on the race course. And then the last thing, I found them. My Noon tablets. Now, Disney is going to give you at the end of the race a bottle of water, and they're going to probably give you a Powerade or a Gatorade. I think the last few years it's been Powerade. Those things don't set well with my stomach, so I'm going to bring my own Noon hydration tablets, and I'm also going to bring a very small thing of Advil. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. Do not take any medical advice from me. But I find that if I take a couple of Advil after the race, I do feel a lot better in the hours following the race. That's just me. There's a lot of people that say you shouldn't do that. So if that's something you choose to do, you may want to have a small thing of Advil and your Noon hydration tablets or whatever it is. I mean, let's say there's a particular rehydration drink that you like, stick it in your bag. Same with snacks. Again, it could be an hour and a half or more. Disney will give you a snack box, but if there's a particular recovery snack that you just love to have, you may want to stick that in your drop bag so that you know for sure you're going to have that at the end of the race. So just kind of think through, you know, at the end of a long race, what makes, or at the end of a long run, if this is your first long race, what makes me feel good at the end of a long run, and stick a couple of those things in your drop bag. You don't want it to be too big and involved or too heavy or whatever, but it is nice to have just a few of those comfort items available to you so that you feel a little bit more human at the end of the race. Oh, one more thing you may want to pack in there is your race shirt. A lot of runners like to change, especially if they're not going, some people, and I have done this, go straight into a park or whatever, you're going to want a dry shirt. If that's you, you're really, and ladies, you're going to want to have a dry sports bra and a dry shirt at least to change into. So that's my tip there. Now, let's talk about throwaway clothes. Run Disney races. More so for the half and the full than the 10K. But also true for the 10K and the 5K. You stand around a lot before the race ever starts, okay? So you're getting dropped off. If you're me, you're getting dropped off in the staging area probably around 4:15 at the latest, okay? And then from then, I still have another, depending on what corral I'm in, 15, 30, 45 minutes, an hour if you're in the back. And if it's your first, long race, you're gonna be in the back unless you submitted a fantastic qualifying time, in which case, I'm really proud of you. But it can be very cold. Now, not every year, but if it's like last year, you're gonna want something around you. The way throwaway clothes work. You wear what you need before the race starts, or for some of us, maybe the first few steps into the race, you're gonna throw that extra layer off to the side. But don't worry, you're not littering and you're not being wasteful. The Run Disney folks come along with a truck. I've actually seen this truck at work when I was cheering one year. They come along, they pick up all of those clothes, they launder those clothes, and then they donate them to charity. So, what a lot of us do is either take stuff out of our own closets or we go to Goodwill. You can also buy cheap sweats on Amazon or whatever. You do not want to be cold and shivering waiting in those corrals. It's just miserable. Once I'm running, I'm fine, but when you are waiting in those corrals, it is freezing cold. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to bring if the weather's looking like it has a possibility of being cold. And don't laugh. Hang on. The first one is this robe. Now, Scott gave me this robe a couple Christmases ago, and I don't like it. It's just, I don't like it's just too thick and heavy for me, and it's not cotton, and so I was gonna donate it. Don't tell him. Now, you're laughing. You're thinking, is she serious? Like, is she gonna put on an actual robe? Oh yes, I am. Heck yes, I'm putting on an actual robe. If it's 40 degrees, if it's 50 degrees, and it's cold, dark, and you're dressed in a running costume, do you have any idea how comforting it will be for you to be standing there in a robe? Think about going into your own closet. What do you have that you're gonna donate anyway? And maybe grab a couple of those things. I'm actually checking a bag this year too. Last year I didn't, so I can afford a little more space for something bulky like this. And again, I'm donating this. I bought it for next to nothing on Land's End a long time ago. And a couple of you are like, I like that jacket. It's very bright. My kids, when I used to wear it, my kids called it my roadside worker jacket. Anyway, so it just zips up, and again, nice, warm, and toasty. Has pockets. The robe has pockets too. I have a place to put my hands, and I can be nice and cozy warm. Right before the race starts, I'm gonna take this off, and I'm gonna throw it away. That's why we call them throwaway clothes. Ooh, one more item that you have to have in your drop bag if it's going to be cold. Okay. Hot hands hand warmers. There's actually 2 of them in here. You break it open, you break it out of its package, and you put it in your hands. You can put 1 in each pocket. I will always bring 2. I've heard of people putting them in their shoes. They actually have one that's just for feet, but I don't have that one. This is the only one I have. If it's cold, until you get warmed up, this will change your life. It will change your life. You can get these on Amazon. I'll put the link below. You do not want to show up at a January Run Disney event without these. They are fantastic. Okay, wore myself out. I'm excited. Are you excited? I hope you're excited. If you're running your very first Run Disney race this marathon weekend, will you please tell me about it in the comments below? I want to see you. I want to be able to give you a hug and tell you great job. If you have any questions, if you're nervous about anything, please ask. A lot of times we feel like, oh, it's my first time, I'm going to feel like a moron if I ask. No, 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 no. There are no dumb questions, especially here at Lefforge. So make sure you ask me any questions that you have. One last thing, don't forget, your bib goes on the front. Your bib does not go on the back, your bib goes on the front. That's all I have for you today. I hope you're excited. I hope your training is going well. I hope you're having a fabulous week. I hope you're having a happy holiday season, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.